Hello and welcome to Drop the Mic Podcast, where we discuss technology, theology, and all things in between. I want to personally thank you for joining us today. Now sit back, relax, share this, engage with the podcast that's already in progress. God bless you. Middle of the day to handle this business. What up? It's your Friday edition. We're getting a 2-pack this week. Check out the latest podcast. It's available on all streaming platforms. I am your humble and sometimes violent host, the digital theologian, DK Hammonds. I'm here, I'm charged, I'm ready to go. And man, I got a lesson for y'all. What a time we had last night. We're going to get right to it. We ain't going to waste no time. I need y'all to do me a huge favor. I know this is early during the day. Turn it down. These gunshots are loud. You're going to hear a lot of them because we're going to hold some homie court. Turn it down. Put your earphones in and invite all the people you know, in particular, those that's been messing with the dating pool. Now, I want to make it very clear that I am not a part of the dating pool at all. Let me qualify my stance early. This is not a invitation or invocation that I'm in the dating pool. It's not that. This is me relaying information to the saints. Equally, if you got time today and you want to jump on the chat with me for a live interview, let me know. It's open. We come in charge and ready to go. Now, this kind of sparked from a certain article I viewed about men and dating. And I read it. And I got up this morning and I read it again like 2 or 3 more times to make sure, number one, the person who was doing this article was legit. Number two, and he is his actual doctor, so he's legit. He's doing the article, he's legit. Number two, make sure I did some personal research because I didn't want to come haphazardly to y'all. And this may be 2 parts, but I need y'all to get this in your shundo. Real quick. I need y'all to get that in your shundo real quick so that we can move forward. If you're in, please put in the chat that you are on. I would love to, again, bring you on if you want to come on. That's all good. You feel me? But yes, this has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with what I read. And I want to present a couple of different arguments that need to be presented about this dating pool we're talking about. One of my close friends, I don't know if she on here. What's good, brother? Yes. Do that. Hit the playback. Please, indeed, please hit the playback. So one of my close friends, her name is Lindsay. And Lindsay did a podcast with me about the dating pool and how trash it was. And when we're talking about the dating pool, we're talking about the pool that single people have to kind of pull from because it's just not good. And she was giving this from a different perspective. And I want to raise the limit up. So the topic today is the dating pool is turning colors, men dating and being lonely. So let's get right to it. Let's not delay. Let's look at this article. Like these articles. They bless us. Now, this is from Psychology Today. Dating opportunities for heterosexual men are diminishing as relationship standards rise. I thought that was real funny. Men represent 62% of dating app users, lowering their chances for matches. That speaks to competition and algorithm and technology. This first one speaks to the change of time, the change of people, the change of where we are. All right. So next, last one. Men need to address skill deficits to meet healthier relationships and expectations. I'm telling you, y'all better get some folks in there because I think I'm gonna go federal. All right. Y'all see this lonely man, lonely face is a really good one. All right. Younger and middle-aged men are the loneliest they've ever been in this generation. And it's probably going to get worse. All right. Well, I want to bring that up. So here's the reason why it's going to get worse. Dating apps. 62% of the users are men, which probably means that's 37% that are women. So in actuality, if we're talking about numbers on dating applications, then that means 62% of the men are going to the dating apps because it is easier. And the other 38, they're going to the dating app as well. Okay. And even with that dating app, look what it says right here. Competition. I want to make sure I highlight that. I said that before, but we even read it. Competition in online dating is fierce. And in a lucky in-person chance encounters with dreamy partners are rarer than ever. That means that people are not meeting in person. So let me break down how I met my wife. I met my wife through a beautiful young lady. She lived in Texas. Her name is Tamara Eddy. She's the owner of the Underground Cafe. And at the time, my wife was at her home, and I came over there to eat for a holiday. And I saw how this young lady was handling her kids. And I said, I got to get to know her better. And that's how I met my wife. Now, before I was married and I tried a single thing on the apps, that thing didn't work for me. I needed an in-person interaction, right? And so a lot of brothers are going thinking that it is an easier route to get on these certain applications and that can kind of help them find companionship, right? But the problem is that many of them are in competition looking for companionship, but in all fairness, they have a different motive. And we're going to talk about that too. So let's talk about these standards. With so many options, it's not surprising that women are increasingly selective. I'm being detailed here for a reason. This person did a live TikTok. Please go look at that TikTok video. I'll post it in the chat if I need to. Go take a look at the TikTok video. This young lady literally starts in profile, opens the profile, and by the time the profile is complete, she had anywhere from 13 to 31 men waiting for her to select. Already, that 38%, right? So remember, they used to say, well, it's a 1-to-7 ratio, but this app is showing something different. I want to make sure I said that. Equally, and this is like Tech Talk, technology is impacting the way that you date. Man, this is good. And I'll also tell y'all, I'm not keeping this up long. Y'all gonna have to go catch this on Patreon or somewhere because this is gonna be rich. Equally, technology is a thing in relationships. And some of us see them as barriers. Other of us see them as tools to meet and connect with people we would normally be able to do. It kind of takes that little nervousness feeling that many of us get, or many of you get, should I say, when you're out trying to date and speak to people. You can kind of use the application as a buffer. But equally, that application is selecting who you date and who you commit your life to, almost before you even know. And I want it to also ring in the back of your head. So while some of y'all are bumping around in these apps, don't forget that you can also meet people in person, and you should do that. All right? Let's keep going. And I want to make sure I credit the doctor that said this is Greg Madas. He's a psychology doctor. I want to give him credit for writing this article. All right. I'm being thorough for a reason. I'm going somewhere. Skill deficits. For men, this means a relationship skill gap that is not addressed will likely lead to fewer dating opportunities, less patience, poor communication skills, and longer periods of being single. Let me say it again. If we don't address it, here's the outcome. But the question is, what are the skill deficits that this doctor is talking about? Now, this is coming from a male white lens, but he's addressing some things that we could just have discussions about. It may not necessarily be all true, but definitely have a conversation. All right. The problem for men is that, look at this, is that, let's read it again. The problem for men is that emotional connection is the lifeblood of healthy long-term love. Emotional connection requires all the skills that families are still not consistently teaching their boys. So what are these skills that men lack? Skills are rooted in, some of the skills are men lack empathy. Men lack the ability to communicate openly without feeling attacked. Another skill that men lack, men, when it comes time to confront their feelings, they ball up instead of being direct. Some of them, not all. Men have a commitment phobia. Some, not all, right? They don't want to overcommit too soon. And they want to play the odds when this doctor who has a real degree is saying, on these applications you love, the odds aren't working in your favor. It's working for the favor of the woman. And you only have a pool of 38% to select from, which means that mind thing that y'all had going on in your brains, that you were going to get selected fairly easy, the algorithm has changed that for you. And partly because men aren't being emotionally intelligent when it comes to their relationships. That's what that is saying. Please go look up emotional intelligence. Men are not taking care of their health. Men are not taking care of their mental health. And yet, you want a whole woman to come into your life with the expectation that she's going to change it. You're lying to yourself, man. And again, if you're just coming on to the podcast today, this is a 2-pack about men and relationships in the dating pool. This is not an invitation for me. This is me relaying information to you. And I probably will go over my 30 minutes I normally go into because I want to be detailed. All right. Did that recap real good. I'm proud of myself. Look at the algorithms. Algorithms are becoming increasingly more complex on dating apps. Can't hack them. That's one thing. Here's another thing. How can men reap the benefit of the algorithm? Level up on your mental health. I just said that. Get into individual therapy to address your skill gaps. It means valuing your own internal world and respecting your ideas enough to communicate them effectively. It means seeing intimacy, romance, emotional connection as worthy of your time and your effort. That's called, friends, emotional intelligence. Which means some men are not mature in this season. And it's come from a man. It's come from me evaluating the talent pool. All right. Y'all got bored of me presenting facts. Well, that's all the facts I got with that. We can get back to it. Those are the facts that this particular person presented. And almost a couple of different variations of an argument. He talked about the fact, number one, of how technology is impacting your relationships. The old school way was that I would go out and I would meet. Now, the new school way is the way that I meet is through the app. At least that's how most men feel about that. Please, ma'am, please, sir, get in the chat if you have any comments, if you think I am wrong anywhere or disagree. If it's blessing you, hearts, likes, we love all those. That's the first thing. Okay. The next thing, and I'll drop all these links in the chat later so you can have them all as I go through them. New York Post talked about also the impact of men and dating apps and how they couldn't get a date. And as I kept reading and drilling down on this, I kept saying to myself, there's a couple of things happening for the men. And I think the word that I want to use is complacency. You have been spoon-fed, and I know the brothers gonna hate me, and I'm gonna get all kind of hate mail, and that's cool. You have been spoon-fed to think, potentially, that you was that. And the game simply put it in the woman's favor. Now, I don't necessarily like that, but it is what it is, right? So I'll drop that link in there as well to see some of the problems that men focus on and say that they have. So we talked about having the emotional intelligence. Okay, so how do we define what emotional intelligence is and why don't men have it? I think that's the next question that we need to answer and drill down with. All right, this emotional intelligence. It's important, y'all, to have, for men to have. It's important for men to go get the proper counseling that they need to process through life. So what are 5 characteristics of emotional intelligence? This comes from Mind Tools. Self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills. This is what men need. What is that then? What is emotional intelligence? The ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, and overcome challenges to diffuse conflict. And I would even say to diffuse deficit. Whew, my argument is strong. All right. So all that being said, I also got some links in here that shows how women feel. And one of the things that I saw in the TikTok video, the woman that I saw, she was like, I don't mind being married, but I probably will never be married because men are looking for indentured servitude more than they're looking for people to connect with and build relationship with. They're looking for someone to pick up their socks, her words specifically, and not somebody to actually do work. They're looking for this as a business transaction, not a relational one. And I would even push the envelope to say that some men who are non-Christians are looking at relationships through a Christian lens to benefit in Christian ways. I'm gonna help myself. Oh, he cut today. So then, that being said, we've talked about the rise of being lonely. And I think there are a lot of men who are lonely, right? I do think there's something wrong with the dating pool on both sides. But I think if we can get the men right, and we can take care of each other as men and challenge each other as men, then we can change the trajectory of these relationships that's happening on an ongoing basis, right? So as a man, I am challenging other men. This is not my sister's job to challenge y'all. No. I am taking my job serious. I'm challenging y'all to have some emotional intelligence, to be more self-aware, right? And I'm going to get into the phases of this thing that we don't talk about for those of y'all who profess to be Christians, but yet you don't have a process to get from one place to the next. The only thing you see is a physical person with no feelings, and you're using distorted methods to get what you want from said individual. Some people give it away for free, but for the most part, you're using your swag to try to get what you want. That's not emotional intelligence. So we got to bring back some truth, some love, some peace, some understanding, some self-awareness. We got to bring back all of these things in the male population, in particular, those who are heterosexual. Now, my brothers who are gay, who are LGBTQIA, salute, peace, but I want to address them specifically. Okay? So I don't want y'all to take that out of context. I want to make sure I say that. I want to address these hetero men specifically. So please give me the lane to do that. But what does the Bible say? Genesis 2:18 says something to this effect. Put some Bible in your life. Maybe this will help some of y'all. The Lord said it's not good for man to be alone. This is before marriage was even thought of. God was talking about relationship. I will make him a helper who is just right for him. So the Lord God formed from the ground all the wild animals. I think that's important because the person that he creates for Adam, this is who he's speaking about, he did not create from the ground. Yeah, let me move on. I'm just going to read the Bible to you so you can see it. All right? He didn't create that from the ground. This is what he did. I'm going to skip the verses. That's Genesis 2:18. I'm going to go to verse 21, somewhere around there. So the Lord caused man to fall into a deep sleep. While man slept, the Lord took out of the man ribs. That means more than one, or rib, depending on the version of text you're reading. Right? Took out ribs from said man, closed up the man's opening. And then God said, at last, the man exclaimed, this one is bone from my bone, flesh from my flesh. Notice he didn't say dirt from the dirt, ashes from the ashes. Bone from my bone, flesh from my flesh, should be called woman because she was taken from a man. That's a lot to deal with. But here's what the text is saying. It's not good for men not to have relationship or community. When you enter in Eve, you enter in community with God and relationship with Eve. Men need community and men need relationships. What men try to void is the community in an effort to pile up on these relationships. They want bodies over obedience to God. Bodies is a thing. I want to get my count up because we've been taught that getting your count up is the masculine thing to do. And it's not. Y'all ain't saying nothing. That's fine. I know it's lunchtime. It's cool. Perceive. I'm sorry, Carlos, let me put that up. Perceive hetero or hetero presenting, respectfully. Thank you, brother. I'll put that up again. Perceived or presenting. Salute to you all. Right? And this lesson could be applied to the other side. I'm not knocking that. I don't want my people to get mad at me because they know I love them. Let's get back to this lesson. Genesis 2:18. Community relationship. God saw an issue in man early. What man would have a problem with is loneliness. Because he addressed it. It's not good for you to be alone, homie. You need someone along this pathway. So how are we going to do this? Do we want to give you animals from the dirt? No. You deserve better than that. Do we want to give you fowls from the air? No. You deserve better than that. Do we want to give you serpents from the ground? No, you deserve better than that. What we want to give you comes out of you. And I think sometimes what men forget when they perceive trying to be Christians and not following the text. Let's keep moving. Now, good man be alone. It's good. It's good. It's God. God has made woman out of dirt, but the ribs. God put man to sleep to create an helper, which I want to make sure I say this. Adam could have chose not to go to sleep and not to name. He could have chose that. He did not choose that. Adam chose to listen to the communal voice, to the Christ-centered voice that created him, and he took himself to sleep. Which shows a level of obedience and trust with his community and community head. That I'm going to trust you, that when I lay down and get back up, I'm going to be better, even though things were taken away from me to make me better. Boy, this is some good teaching right here. Ooh, this is good teaching. So Adam went to sleep out of obedience. God told him to go to sleep. He went to sleep. God then does not take dirt, but he takes Adam's rib. A rib is symbolic, and it says ribs. A rib is symbolic, or ribs are symbolic to what is protecting the most intimate thing in your life. Take your rib out and see what happened to you. Won't you lean? Won't you look deformed? Won't you bleed out? Won't things shift around? Right? Take that away. Take the mender away. And what do you have? You have a dating pool that's full of fecal matter. And that's what you got. You forgot who took the rib out. You forgot who was the person in community. And then you start going wayward and professing and projecting and presenting and being perceived as a believer. And all the time you were demonic as a man. Tough lesson. Necessary lesson. Right? All right. So what do we learn from that too? In the Bible. Dating is a 5-pronged process I want to present. Right? I want to present that. Before I go into it, now I'm in text. We presented our argument. I'm going to give those details later. I'll put them in the chat. I want to present 5 prongs of dating. This is something that I wrote. This is mine. Doesn't belong to anybody else, not a book anywhere. First part of dating is ministry, which is assignment directed by God. Because dating is nothing but outings. Getting to know one another. We create our own convoluted definitions. And if you're looking for a biblical definition of dating, you will not find one. Every one you've read is made up. Go on record. If you find one, show me in the text. Don't try to come in and try to twist the scripture to fit the confines of that time period. You will not find one. But here's what you'll find. Ministry assignment. That means a person comes into my life. We interact. I am there to disciple that person. We can go out to certain settings and you can be discipled. Churches included. Ministry. Let's say ministry is not on the table. This is not ministry. I like this person. Now we're talking about it should start at a level of friendship. Some of y'all don't want to go to friendship. You instantly want to get married to somebody. Or you instantly want to screw. That's not the divine design of this. You're misusing God's design. Therefore, your results are not the results that you desire. You're experiencing young women who you think should be further along, and they're not. You're expecting women to be your mothers, and they're not designed that way. You're expecting for women to cater to you, and you're not catering to them. Right? Well, it starts at the next level, friendship. Then do you know how to properly be a friend to the opposite sex without screwing them? I'm at my 29 minute mark. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to leave this up for a minute. I got to take this down. It's fire. Can you literally be somebody's friend without sex being on the table? It is very possible. But it takes some emotional intelligence to do that. And I would say some men don't have that. And if you don't have that, don't enter into that. Just tell people up front, hey, look, I know you want me to be the homie. I know you want me to be your friend. But at some point, I'm going to want some draws. Can you provide? Be upfront. I think with this emotional intelligence thing, I think a level of truth and transparency is not in dating anymore. Folks don't know what they're getting with y'all. One day you up, next day you down. All right, next thing. All right. Friendship outings that says and suggests that we are exclusively friends. We are nothing else but friends. Sister, don't be trying to make it more than what it is. Brother, don't be trying to make it more than it is. We are simply friends. And we need to be okay with being friends. Sometimes people forget and don't take the pause break to say, God, how is this person assigned to me? Their ministry, are they friends? Are they concubines? Because I know some of y'all got concubines out here. How is this person assigned to me? And that's how I need to deal with them. Next one. Relationships. As a city girl said, relationship is y'all go together real bad. Real bad. Real bad. And some of y'all be projecting relationship. You be doing all the relationship stuff. This is the men folk. You be doing all the relationship stuff, but that's just my friend. Stop doing that. Because what you are doing, I'm going to get to that. Ooh, stop doing that. No, let me say it. Stop doing that, men, because what you are doing, according to Song of Solomon, verse 2 and 18, you are awakening a love or awakening something in a person that you're not ready and willingly responsible to meet or maintain. Projecting and professing only to get what you want. Now, what do women do? Same thing. Awaken a love in a man. Sometimes through his loins. Sometimes through misleading. Sometimes through conversation. And what do they get? They get fecal matter in the pool. All right, we'll keep rolling. Relationship real bad. Friendship, ministry, courtship. We don't talk enough about this. That's that time period after relationship, before engagement or being betrothed, that you are in, that you're going to determine if we go into the next phase. And listen, if we're not going to the next phase, move to one of these other parameters. I got it written down over here. I'll show it to you. I love this. I got it written down right there. Y'all pardon my language. Here it is. Right there. Right there. Written down. Got a screenshot you want to. This is a good lesson for some of y'all. This is a good lesson. Some of y'all need this lesson. Courtship, we move from the first three levels and we have determined that the next level for us is marriage, and we're going to keep on tracking down this road until we get there. That's what courtship is. We've ministered to one another. I've been your friend. We in a relationship, and now we're at a place from this relationship that we are in a place where marriage is next on the table. That's the next level, dog. We've done these other things. If we take steps back, I'm leaving. And so men like to stay at the friend place and then get the other three things for free. That courtship written wrong, so forgive me. Get the other three things for free. Y'all can't see that, let me know. I got it on the screen. If not, I'll put it up later. Ministry, first thing. Are you in my life as an appointment from God? Or are you in my life to gain a deeper relationship? And that next relationship is going to be all about friendship. And then from friendship, we're going to build an authentic core piece of relationship so that we can push to what is next, and that is courtship. And so what courtship is if I want to be with you longer than when I'm with you. The Bible talks about being betrothed. That's when actually you gave your inheritance to their parents to determine if you are going to be married to that person or not. See, these are the Christian things that y'all don't want to do. That is required. As a man, what are you giving up for your woman? Otherwise, she ain't much of a woman for you. Sisters, go back and check. What has he given up? And I ain't talking about alcohol and weed smoke. No. I'm talking about whorish ways. I'm talking about dying to yourself. I'm talking about having a higher level of collaboration. I'm talking about having emotional intelligence. And men want everything else, but they don't want to pay the price. Don't even have a plan to pay the price. Got to pay the price. And you thought that you could avoid paying the price by going through a technological piece that will give you a higher rate of probability to meet someone who would not know all of your frailties and fallacies. Let me get some gunshots in there, calm myself down. You thought that. You thought that. You honestly thought that. But I'm here to serve you notice. You're wrong, man. There's only 38% women in that actual joint. So you got to go back to find a different way. You used to go to Home Depot, but can't nobody find you in there. You used to go out to eat, but your money is not straight. You used to go to one of the homegirls' house who was truly the homie, and you knew she had a homie that you had wanted to holler at your entire life. That wasn't good enough for you, right? That wasn't easy enough. That didn't present enough. That didn't give me. I couldn't reach that place. I couldn't hunt that down with your primitive mind. You thought. Now I just gave you the Bible. Go read Genesis 2:18. Look what he was not married to her yet, but God did the creating of her first to prepare him for what was to come. And before she came, if you go back and read in Genesis, he had work established. He had career established. He had a stream where he could hear from the voice of God established. Man, get out of here. You want a woman? Show me that you listen to God. Period. Because you cats don't want no woman. What you want is an indentured servant, and you want a collection of concubines. Now, if that's your thing, cool. Let that be what it is. But everybody ain't riding like that. And you need to be honest. Bring back the honest men that will tell people the truth. Hey, sis, peep game. I'm dating multiple people. And brothers, what you'll find out is, so is she. Okay, cool. If this thing grows and becomes something, I'll cut them off. I'll focus here. If it don't, we just doing what we doing. That kind of truth women respect and honor. Y'all think they can't handle the truth? No, here's what you're afraid of. You're afraid that your truth will get you casted out. And that's a possibility. I would rather be respected for telling the truth than be a whoremonger that's living a lie, period. Let me slow down. Let me turn the crickets on. Getting ahead of myself. That's just what I would do. But what we've raised and what we have is men who want to ghost, who want to be cowards, but you want to do everything to get the trim. And if y'all need to look up trim, go to Urban Dictionary and look up the word trim. It'll tell you what it is. And then 50, 60 years old, you come back around and you think, Man, I just need that one, dog. But you spoiled your time in your 20s and do you think that woman wants you at 50, bruh? No, she wanted you at your apex. When you are a prime predator. Out here just clowning. I would say something else. But I ain't got enough hearts on my screen to go off. Because it's two words I want to use in a marital context. I could use it in a marital context. You shouldn't wait till you're 50 because folks want to get slutted out before they're 50. There, I said it. All right. What's the next one here? All right, I got a bunch of clips, a bunch of how some women feel, a lot of single sisters out here, and they would love to be in something committed, something that is defined, something that has legs, something that is going somewhere. But what they have found out is, as they desire this, you want to be for the streets. Now, you want to slut yourself out in the streets, that's fine. But slutting yourself out in a marital context looks totally different than the streets. It does. It does. Here's the last thing I didn't say on here, I think needs to be said. It's very important. Genesis 2:18, when Adam obeyed God and went to sleep, he could have kept working in the field, could have done what he wanted to do, could have been disobedient. But Adam made a decision. And this is where it's going to get fired right here. Adam made a decision. I'm going to obey. Because through that obedience, I'm going to get the best thing for me. I'm going to get what I need. And that is a helper. God saw exactly what I needed. And he provided on the spot. Man, how could I not submit myself to that? We have a lot of whores in the kingdom, but we have very few submitted men in the kingdom. And that takes time. Some of y'all need some time to get that out your system, but we need men that are submitted to God, to the ways of God, to having the mind of God, to understand that a helper is not an indentured servant, that submission works both ways. Before Eve could submit, Adam had to submit, obey. Y'all miss all that. So there's this clip that I saw. I think this brother's called Black. It's on TikTok. I did my research on this, y'all. Y'all be proud of me.
I'm gonna read you.
It's on TikTok. Let me look at my search. Yeah, I'll talk about submission later because I did a lesson on submission. This guy's name is Black Guru. I did a lesson on submission for a married couple. And before we got off the phone, everybody was crying. Because for so long, we had looked at submission as only being the woman's job. And submission is not solely the woman's job. Submission starts with the man. And brothers, you're looking for women to submit, but you're not submitted, bruh. Who you submitted to? We used to ask a question back in the day, man, who your pastor? That's who you submitted to. But Black Guru asked this question to another brother. And this would kind of challenge me to kind of get out there. Black Guru says, so, when you come home from a hard day's work, what's the role of the woman? And he said, well, my wife is tired. So I'm going to pick up, cook for the kids, do what I got to do to make her load easier. He's like, huh? That's her job. And he was like, dude, we got 5 kids. How's that her job? It's our job. Them ain't just her kids. Them our kids. This dude sat on there and was dumbfounded that this brother had presented to him a home that was balanced and had mutual power. See, submission works through mutuality, and we both got it. You have power, I do too. We're co-laborers in this thing at this house. We take care of one another. and everything within this house. Right? You may fall off. I'm going to pick up. I'm going to pick up. You fall off. It works that way. We create a culture of servitude. Read some of these comments. Red Gaines, my sister from Detroit. Dude had been married 20 years. No doubt. 20 good years, and this dude was saying, hey, man, your wife still need to cook clean after 20 good years. Can I share with y'all something? I've been married for 8 years. My wife don't cook for me every day. And I have never asked. I'm a grown person. If it's something that I want, baby, do you want something to eat? Because I can go pick that up. Or I can try to cook that myself. I ain't really a good cook, so I'll try. You know what I'm saying? No excuse. But I'm not going to put that load on her. She calls me and say, hey, babe, I'm hungry. What you want? Why? My wife goes to school, full-time job, mother. She's confidant to everybody, singer at church. She got a lot of stuff going on. Why can't I just serve my wife? It's nothing you little young whippersnappers missing. You can get more trim if you knew how to serve right. Y'all just be acting stupid, man. Got to put it out there. I'm moving into the OG status, so now I can talk to y'all like I need to. Y'all be acting silly. And you ruin your opportunity to gain more because you're taking away so much. What are you going to add to the equation if you get into a marriage type of relationship? And the fact that you demand marital benefits before a ring, a betrothed, anything has been discussed is funny style to me. That's funny to me. You shouldn't expect nothing from that woman but her being who she is. If you can't get it, get a second job. Save your money better. Get everything in order, right? To help benefit. Here's the next thing I would say. As a man, if you're wanting a wife, do yourself a favor. I wish I would have done this. Get your affairs in order. If you got taxes, know where you're going with that. If you have things you need to pay, know where you're going with that. If you have bills that need to be taken care of, take care of that. What's the 5-year plan that you already have? You need to already have that set before she even get there. Because here's what happens. If you have a plan, women know how to work plans. Nope. That's fire. They don't understand servant leadership and how people will follow those who serve them. Facts. We got to serve, man. Y'all want to be served. That brother Black Guru said that, and you could just see his world crumble. He was so busy trying to be Kevin Gates. I mean, not Kevin Gates. The man that just passed away. He's trying to be Brother Kappa, and he's nowhere near that. You don't even have a total understanding of the construct of marriage. Marriage for a man starts at the womb of service. Period. Now, we ain't going to always get it right. We ain't going to always be consistent. Our goal is to attempt and try every day. It starts there for men. But that's how I know you don't read the Bible. Because you don't live it. And it ain't in you. And so what Craig Rochelle would call you is a Christian atheist. You are Christian externally, but you have some atheistic tendencies. Ooh, this lesson. It's a good lesson. I'm going to try to post all this stuff that I got, that I read, pass that on. But men, the only reason that you're lonely is because you're choosing to be. I'm looking at my chat right now. And there are single women in this chat. But they just not going to play your game. Let's read what your dad said. Your dad been married a minute. Let's read that. Marriage is cynical. and about reciprocity. When he is kind to my mom, it made her want to be kind to me, which made him want to return it. They want start good cycles. Rand, where you been at? My G. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. So I've given you great tools to start with as a man. So let me recap some things I think men need. Y'all get this out here and share this to folks. I'm going to keep this up for a minute. I got to take this down because this is fire. This is so fire. Men need a plan. A man is only as good as the plan he's created. Men need a savior. Don't know who that is. That Kemet, Muhammad, Jesus. A man needs a deity in his life. I can tell you a lot about a man who doesn't have a deity. I can tell you a lot about him. Men need to readily deal with their own trauma. That means find you a mental health professional. Sit with someone. Let them dig through your brain and let you self-discover, right? So that you don't pass that trauma on to another woman. The next woman you date, brother, does not deserve the trauma of your past. That should be reconciled. So men love to move around fast so they don't deal with that trauma, but that trauma doesn't go anywhere. And don't try to come to me in my chat or anything like that and say that's a soul tie. That's not biblical. Trauma is real. And many of you men have undealt with trauma, whether it be from childhood, whether it be from adulthood, whether it be something that you created your own. You need to deal with that trauma head on as a man. Men need community. Now, here's where I have a critique, because sometimes I'm a churchman, and in church, we attempt to create community for men, but what it comes off as young men come into the room, they have ideas that old men don't want to listen to, and old men have ideas that are antiquated, but yet they have experience. And so you have this kind of divide in the room of church. And we attempt to be honest and have honest dialogue and conversation. But what we do not create in that honest dialogue and attempt is valid communities. Once that men's meeting is over, some of those guys, not all of them and not everywhere I go, they're gone doing their own thing, period. So men need community. Wherever that is, right? Whoever that is, good community. And your community needs to be balanced. You need some businessmen in your community. You need a mentor in that community. You need some homies that are moving at the direction that you're trying to move at in that. So yeah, you need that. 40 years in the game. Salute. You need that. Men need that. And every time I look up, when I see this 62%, I say, you lack community. You have some things that you're running away from. And so you're going to try to come over here because these people won't ask all of those heavy-hearted questions that probably hit around from friendship to relationship. So to my sisters that are wanting to date heterosexual men, here's my challenge to you. Ask the hard questions. Stop settling for just a surface level question. Ask the hard one. Even if you lose the relationship over asking the hard question, you dodged the bullet. Sisters, stop trying to fix these people. If they're not willing to do what I just suggested, then what makes you think whatever you got going is going to change their trajectory? It's not. Which brings to number 3. You got to stop with the rosy lenses. When you know that dude is a player, you know he a player. When you know that dude's a freakazoid, you know he a freakazoid. So why do you keep putting yourself in that position? Knowing full well that this idiot is going to waste 2 years of your time, mess up your credit, drive out your gas, and run your tires flat on your car? Why would you do that? You're doing it because secretly you want companionship, and this is settling for companionship. And I would dare to say, if the men would do their job, you would no longer have to settle that way. So we all got a hand to play. But men, we got to get it together. You claim you're a leader? Let me see how you serve first. Let me see what kind of friend you are. Let me see if you know how to develop relationships. Let me see what you do in those areas. And then we can talk about courtship. Because that's when you get to meet my mama and my daddy, and they get to ask you these valid questions that are necessary for me. Then. But you ain't meet nobody if you can't get past number 3. And most of y'all don't really get past number 3. The women just feel sorry for you. And they hope that you will change when you see something new. And sisters, you got to stop living that lie. You got to stop. You got to stop. You got to stop. You got to stop answering them calls, living that lie, participating willfully in the experience of somebody who's not even a servant, nor are they submitted. You got to stop. So I need y'all to do that, preferably, and maybe we can see some changes. Maybe we can see some men not lonely because there's plenty of women out here. Some women don't want to come to the app because, man, they just want to do it naturally. And the natural thing is I'm out, I meet somebody out, I meet somebody in my field, and that person is who I just connect with. Boom, boom. It just takes off. It's a chemistry. It's a synergy that we rolling with. I like that, right? Opens the doors, polite, thoughtful, flowers, cards, all of these things. And I know for certain that if, this person is not with me, they're doing something productive, not trying to run my name in the mud. Somebody say amen. Thank y'all. Whole hour. Y'all roll with me. If this has been helpful, share it, like it, heart it. This is the most hearts I've seen, so apparently this has been real helpful. But I had to get that off my chest that had been riding on me for 2 days. Kayla, I love Kayla. Come on, fam. Men on the apps can be weird, no effort, no date plans. Just trying to vibe. Come on. Just trying to vibe. Amen, Ashe. Yeah, see, that vibing is unproductive. Netflix and chill. Unproductive. Vibing. Unproductive. Man, put a plan together. Let's go bowling. Laser tag. Let's go to Cedar Hill Trails. Lazy as hell. Cedar Hill Trails. Let's go to Deep Ellum. Let's go to Pecan Lodge. Let's go to some rooftop and have an old fashioned. Let's go, dude, I'm giving y'all the game. Let's go have a picnic. Picnic don't cost you nothing but effort. Come on, let's go to the Red Bottom store if your money allow it. And let's look at some shoes. Baby, I can't afford it right now, but if I see what you want, I'm going to save for that. Because I want you to have nice things. And so, brothers, if you truly about that life, then you got to raise your level up. Your little $200,000 job is cool. But are you thoughtful? Are you engaging? Are you sending the biscuit messages every morning? Grand Rising Queen. Hold on, turn this down. Grand Rising Queen. God bless you is my prayer. I pray all is well. Hope you good. Peace and blessings. Kemet. Y'all running that game? Hey, man, y'all got to cut that out. Be authentic. Let me also say this if I turn this music off. Hey, man, all them good morning texts that y'all doing, one good morning text works. One good afternoon text works. One good evening text works. And in between those three things, you need to have some conversation. I'll talk about that later. Because some of y'all conversation is trash. At most, you could talk about is the positions that you want. But you can't talk about the position that we can be in together. That is non-sexual. Hate it here. We got to do better. I'm going to share a story with y'all. I keep turning on music. My daughter's getting married in 90 days. No, I tell you. I'm so proud of her. What up, cuz? Daughter getting married 90 days. That young man watched her for 2 years. He was nervous. He was afraid. He's like, man, she kind of always, in her bag. I don't know. And one day, he got the nerve. He knew what he wanted. And he asked. Now, at first, my daughter was like, ugh. I said, baby, see it through. Like who you like. Hang out who you hang out with. Ain't no expectations. You good. That young man stuck around. It's been almost 2 years. They getting married in 90 days. He's gone to marriage counseling. He's done the work. He's doing the work. I'm so proud of him. Right? But he did it on his own. Because he wanted to be the best husband that he could be for his wife. And that's some of y'all can't even be good boyfriends. You talking about you want a whole woman. You had to stop saying different ways of trash. So salute to everybody that's on here. Thank y'all. If y'all got any questions, I'll do this for like 1 more minute. Put your questions up. I'll answer those. I'll stop my music. If not, and at the end of this, which is like 50 seconds, it's 50 seconds on here, I will get off the air and kind of take this. I'm going to leave this up probably for the next 3 to 4 hours. I need for y'all to share this to people that need to see this. They need to see it. It'd be helpful. I see you, friend. We did the show together about the dating pool is trash. So yeah, man, it's been well. I wanted to make sure again that I share this with y'all. It was on my heart to talk about it and give it really a full context. Sometimes we go to these conferences. You got to replay that thing. Sometimes we go to these conferences, we only get part of it. I wanted to just walk y'all through from top to bottom what it is and what it's not, right? And I think it takes a man to address a man. Say that again. I know y'all sisters out here working hard, trying to get these dudes together. That ain't your job. It's my job. It's the other man's, the elder's job. You got to get these dudes straight. Y'all got to go do other things. Get the women straight. We're going to get these men straight. If there's not any questions, concerns, or comments, continue to follow me on Buzzsprout, Apple, Spotify. I'm on all channels. I love y'all. I adore y'all. I thank y'all for letting me share. I thank y'all for me. I think that I'm able to share my life with y'all in such a way that you can see truth and transparency. That's my job. I want y'all to see truth and transparency. And I, again, love my wife. We're going to be married 8 years, September the 5th. And so we're going to keep going strong and keep helping people the best way we know how. And that's through this. All right, y'all. It's been real. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We're going to get up out of here some kind of way. I feel like I'm sitting around because somebody got questions. If you got questions, put them in the chat. I'll answer them later. I'll get to them later. But if not, we're going to get up out of here. Peace, love, light. Man, brothers, let's get it together. Some good women out here. I'm going to start pointing them out in my chat. A lot of them single. So, brothers, if you're watching this, if you're looking in the chat, you reread, look at the chat. A lot of these sisters are single, but they not going to play your game. And they will fire you quickly. I'm just putting it out there. Putting it out there for y'all. So, all right. Peace. Love y'all, man. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. My hope is that the podcast added value to your life. Please, please, please subscribe from your favorite application, leave us a review, and even follow us on YouTube for your up-to-date information. Thank you. Peace.